We're going to look at kind of an exciting or fun bit of code here. But before we actually get to the code, I actually have to show you how to use images, as in how to find the images we want to use on the internet. CodeSculptor loads images directly from web pages, which means you can't download the images. You want to find the URL, the address of an image. So let me show you how to do that. Of course, Google Images is a great place to start. Um, let's just say we want to look for a waterfall. And so we go here and we see a bunch of waterfalls. Actually, sorry, just for an example, I wanted to search for a waterfall background because I found some examples I wanted to show you. The thing that makes this a little bit confusing is that you need to get the image. So let's just say we like this image right here. So I click on it and I right click and I say open image in new tab. And when I come here, what I'm hoping is I just see the image. And if I look at this URL, I should see it end in some sort of image tag. So if you don't know the image tags, let me just write a note here. Images online can end in JPEG or abbreviation for that, or they could end in GIF, or they could end in PNG. So it's going to be one of those three. The one I clicked on now is a JPEG. Usually big graphics like this are going to be JPEGs. So I could copy and paste this entire URL, this whole thing up here, hit copy, and we're going to put that into CodeSculptor when we're ready to go. Now when I open this up, the other thing you might notice is that it's got the water markings on it. So you kind of want to look for ones that don't have these kinds of things on them, because those will show up in your program. So that doesn't look the best. Another thing that can happen, let's say you come down to this one and you say, wow, this looks great. Beware of places that say they're from things like Get wallpapers or desktop backgrounds and that kind of thing, because usually when I say open image in new tab, when I click on it, it doesn't load the image at all. It loads a website. So you see how this has things you can click on, menus and all sorts of things on it. Um, Links here. So I need to be able to get the image itself. I can't get a website. This URL does not end in .jpeg. Now I did a little test on this one. If I hit download, it's going to say, okay, in 3, 2, 1, you can download. This is all about getting ads and everything, of course. And I say I want to, I don't know why it says watch, but get the full resolution image. And so now this ends in .jpeg. So sometimes you can still find the image that you want. So I should be able to copy and paste, well, copy for right now, this URL because it ends in .jpeg. So that's looking for the images. So that's step one. Another thing you might want to do, let's just say I got this background and then I want to put some, hiker or something walking across the waterfall. Um, when you do other searches, what you want to do is, like, let's just say I look for a hiker. Okay. I don't think I want clip art or anything. I just want, a person walking. But it's like, I need to get just a person, right? So how do I find just a person walking? Um, I'm not sure if it's going to work for this one, but I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to Color, and I'm going to search for transparent hiking boots. Well, here's a hiker. Um, Maybe this person? maybe this person. I mean, if I wanted to go cartoony. So if you're it's pretty hard to find an exact image that you might want to use because you have to decide, is this the style that I want? Is he facing the right direction? Um, whatever I get, that's what's going to show up. Do I want to do this person who's looking, away from me the entire time? But anyway, the reason I wanted to show you transparent is because you want to find these little grids in the back. That's going to tell you that this guy does not have a background, and so he can go over top of another image. If I had just a square, like a white square, then the white square would show up. So when I click on this one, this one's just a white square. That's not transparent. This one's transparent. And when I go open image as, I can get this guy and I can get his file. See, this one ends in .png, so I can get this one. So I can use this one. One last thing, the other step is that when you do want to use an image, you should take a look at the resolution, which is what is the width, what is the height of the images. Easiest place to find it is when you first look at the images. It pops up in the corner of Google Images. So you see this little pop-up right here. If you know the size of the screen you're working on in CodeSculptor, you'll notice, okay, 250 by 250. That'll take up a good portion of the screen, but it works. While some of these other ones are really, really large. And so you have to ask yourself, is that the size that I want? Now, the good news is we can resize them in CodeSculptor, but the bigger they are, the longer they might take to load and things like that. So if I was to go back to, I don't even know if I can. Well, if I was to go over here to this one, this was a huge image. Like when I click on it, you can see it's, this big on my screen. So this one's going to be hard to fit in unless I just want to put in a piece of it or if I want to shrink it. I can see here it's actually telling me in the description of in the URL that it's 1920 by 1200, which is way bigger than what I'm going to do in CodeSculptor. So you have to pay attention to that. You don't have to look for any particular one because you can resize, but again, it's just something to pay attention to. Sometimes you even want to write it down. We'll get into that in the next step. So I think if I was to go back here and see my notes, that is everything I wanted to tell you about finding the images, and now we'll talk about how to use the images in CodeSculptor.